periodicals of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. My name is Chris Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. This here is a 55-page document that will arrive in your office today, Monday, August 28th. On demanding that you, Perry Douglas, and your boss, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, disclose the names of my prosecutors' silence. I have at least 3 prosecutors. Before John P. Lomenzo Jr. in Paffordtown Court, Paul C. Metzer in Paffordtown Court, and one of you freaks and sociopaths elevated me to Alex Renzi, the supervising judge in the New York State Supreme Court. And who is it? Prosecutors never talked in court for me. And I have been in jail 6 times. And I told you this on January 1. This is the first document that's going to arrive in your office of the 55 pages. Because here's the receipt right here. It has your name on it, stamped on the 25th, which is a Friday. 26th, 27th, 28th, it'll arrive at your office. Well, you see the Freedom of Information Law, and you refuse to comply because you're corrupt. Because your boss, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, is corrupt. How am I in jail when a prosecutor doesn't talk in court? I demand the names of these freaks and sociopaths because the Appellate Division of State Supreme Court is where an attorney is disbarred. And I'm going to be relentless about disbarment for every single one of these freaks and sociopaths. So here's your name right here. This document. That is 55 pages. And I'm going to read it. Not all of it. I'm going to tell you what each document is. Sandra Doorley is also going to get it. This is her name right there. And Merrick B. Garland, Attorney General of the United States, is going to get this in the next 48 hours. Trinity Ross, the United States Attorney for the Western District of New York and Buffalo, is going to get this document. Alex Renzi, the New York State Supreme Court, is going to get this document. There's his name with August 25th stamped on it. The card's going to come back to me. So I'm going to tell you momentarily what Alex Renzi's going to think. And here's Todd Baxter, this Benito Mussolini skinhead, who has unleashed his disgusting, vile criminal operation I view the same way as I did the mafia in New York City in the 1970s and 80s. He's going to refuse to provide me with information I'm demanding over and over and over. Any Freedom of Information Law. So that's just for August 25th. And there's other ones in here on the 24th and 23rd and 22nd. And you're going to refuse to comply for a simple reason. It's corruption. That's why. So I've also demanded disclosure of the names of my prosecutors to silence here on this August 10th. Heinous at Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra, and Judge Alex Renzi. This arrived in your office because the green card came back to me. Comply with the attached Freedom of Information Law document dated August 6, 2023. The documentation requires you to mail the names of my prosecutors to the address Baldwin Park Avenue. I've demanded the names of these freaks for 18 plus months using the foil. You refuse. Public Defender Julie Siak refuses. Refuse to call corruption. I copied Julie Siak and public defenders on here, and Assistant Public Defender Mark Phillips, who are also refusing, which is mind-blowing. That's the phrase I use all the time, because the Public Defender's Office is supposed to oppose the Leviathan at the District Attorney's Office, and they are in fear of the District Attorney's Office. That's mind-blowing. So, on this January 1, 2023, there's your name right there. I'm not going to read this again because it's going to arrive today. So you can read it. Well, I say on this January 1, I'll be in court again because your fellow psychopaths know it takes only one corrupt judge, as Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court, Paul C. Metzer, from the Paffordtown Court, to claim me guilty of criminal charge duplicate. On this January 1, 2023, I was exactly right. I was in court again. I was getting ready to move back to Albany. I expected to be back in Albany in February. But I was thinking I could possibly not arrive because these freaks at the District Attorney's Office, and I was exactly right. That's why I wrote that here. So this is something that Todd Baxter was lying about it for a simple reason. The Sheriff of Monroe County doesn't know if he's a Republican or Democrat, is a liar. And I hate to use this phrase because I know I can be embarrassed and humiliated, but there's only one phrase for it, and it's the accurate phrase. And people who believe in cruelty will exploit the use of this phrase, even though it's the truth. The phrase is surveillance device. January 16, 2023. Todd Baxter, Sheriff. This photograph is why you're a fanatic. This photograph is why you're an extremist. This photograph is why you're a liar. This photograph is why I know the name. You're $67,000 disgusting act Shanamar. This photograph is why people hate the police. Christopher Chester, 620 Park Avenue, PMB number 361, Rochester, New York, 14604. Copy 2, Trinity Ross, Paul C. Leslie, James Fielding, Jr., Mark Phillips, Gina Harper, Paradox, Mike Rowell. It's right here. Just the public defender did send me the links. I watched myself on it. This is the lunatic fringe of hatred. Here. There it is right there. It's a camera called surveillance device. The great Mike Pompeo, formerly of the Central Intelligence Agency, will tell anybody that looks at it that this is a surveillance device. And you freaks, sociopaths, the sheriff's office, when I first started using this phrase, are calling Renzi Barron, the Monroe County Office of Mental Health, to invade my life and come to my residence. This is private technology. Employees of the sheriff's office at a business called Consumer Insights at 2025 Penfield Road, where Ellie Ross is the president. You buy it and fix it for me. You'll continue to lie about it. You'll lie about it by silence. So on January 18th, you got this on email too. Email, FedEx, UPS, registered mail return receipt. I'm saying on YouTube, disclose the names of these freaks and sociopaths in my prosecutor's silence. Apply with the attached PDF dated January 18th that has 70 free informational documents. It's unethical. You refused. Language requires precision. That whole district attorney's office is unethical. Every single one of you. Every single one of you should have that JD revoked from your existence. January 22nd, perjurer. I'm not going to talk about that or violence. And Michael C. Land is a perjurer. But I got the criminal complaint about Seaton here who also attacked me. Perjurer 73312, Michael C. Land, the Sheriff's Office. Violence, Sheriff Todd Baxter, 75904, Richard J. Seaton. You have the criminal complaints at the district attorney's office on Michael Land lying under oath. Said I swung a hammer at him on my back porch. The insane 1984 of this cop freak's mind. And Richard J. Seaton walking into the Penfield Public Library, slamming me in the head. I fell backwards. My head hit the surrounding tiles. Violent assault upon me by this freak cop who I've been talking about since this violent attack, assault on me happened. And he's still employed. Todd Baxter loves violence. January 24, 2023. Todd Baxter, Sandra, Doorley. Perfect two-word sentence. You're freaks. Apply with attached PDF dated January 24th that has 70 free informational documents in there. It's not prosecutor's silence. You refused. So my ex-girlfriend, Laura Riley, took everything out into a storage locker. I blind copied her on this. I had a bookcase. That's my bookcase. That she doesn't own. She can't prove that she owns. For a simple reason, she doesn't have a receipt for it. And when my landlord, Anthony Spano, locked me out of my residence, she took everything out into a storage locker. The storage locker's been cleaned out, and she kept a bookcase that she doesn't own. I'm going to have some type of litigation or criminal complaint about how she has my property in her residence she doesn't own. And she said, the questions I asked her is, what individual called you to come to where we used to live at 26 Sandra from driving Penfield? Was the dead son, Giuseppe Spano, father Anthony Spano? Call you, did the dead son, Giuseppe Spano, Anthony Spano use threatening language? Did the dead son, Giuseppe Spano, father Anthony Spano state my personal possessions to be thrown in the trash? And it goes on from there. I own nothing, have nothing because of Laura Riley and Anthony Spano. Anthony Spano, criminal claims in the office, locked doors and locked me out without a court order. Requires a court order locks this now. Requires a court order to move everything out of my residence to a storage locker. There is no court order to lock me out or move anything to a storage locker. These are crimes of criminal complaints in your office. Anthony Spano won't be arrested on 1 day in jail. My ex-girlfriend won't be arrested on 1 day in jail because you freaks at the district attorney's office, you freaks at the sheriff's office don't know what constitutes a criminal act. So I'm telling you about, again, over and over, Michael Hulan being a perjurer, Richard Seaton attacking me, and these 6 links arrived in the office. Fanaticism, perjury, violence, rejection, accountability, January 26th, again, today. Doesn't matter to you that an employee of the sheriff's office, duly sworn officer law, Michael Hulan lied under oath. Doesn't matter to you, the employee of the sheriff's office, duly sworn officer law, Richard Seaton, violently attacking the library. Doesn't matter Lisa Gray, the counsel, the district attorney, because I sent this email to her February 1st. I don't hear anything. She has to say to me, what are you talking about? I read what you wrote or I heard what you said on YouTube about you being attacked at a library by a sheriff's office employee, a perjurer at the sheriff's office. I don't know. Can you explain that? That's what someone that has morality and ethics and character would do. Lisa Gray doesn't have any of those things because she's a typical freak at the district attorney's office. Lisa Gray, special counsel, which says YouTube about periodicals. I'm talking to you again. Perjury and violence. So, Then I have the blue wall silence. Todd Baxter is the most ridiculous, predictable cop cliche there is right here. The blue wall silence. Usually I write a sentence or two or a graph or two about what I want to say to these freaks at the sheriff's office and you freaks at the district attorney's office. And I thought this is going to stand by itself here. I'm just going to tell them what I always tell them: resign. The blue wall silence. The blue wall silence has been around since at least Frank Serpico in New York City. Because cops will be quiet when they witness other cops commit crimes. And that's exactly what the partner freak did for Richard Seidman at the Penfield Public Library. That's exactly what 10 Monroe County Sheriff Office employees did when they stalked me over the Wegmans. Monroe County Sheriff Office employee exited his vehicle. There were 5 vehicles. He runs at me, knocks me down. My head slammed down on the concrete pavement. I'm violently attacked by Monroe County Sheriff Office employee outside the pharmacy entrance to the Wegmans. Every single one of these 10 Monroe County Sheriff's Office employees in the 5 vehicles stalking me over the Wegmans will say they didn't see anything because they had a blue wall silence. So, my letter to Robert J. Valenti, United States Department of Veterans Affairs. I would have been continued to be outside, sleeping in Harris Rental Park in Penfield if Robert didn't help me. If Lori Pepper was Siski of the Department of Veterans Affairs, I'm not going to read that. Hard goal, Robert J. Valenti helping me. People with hearts of stone are right here. Sandra, Doorley, and Todd Baxter, you two silence of violence. I've used that more than once. The silence of the district attorney's office delivering me to jail is being accompanied by the violence of the sheriff's office. This all began upon me because of Shannon Meyer at the sheriff's office, who was a $67,000 freak. She's now an $83,000 freak. Sheriff Todd Baxter, $16,000 pay raise freak, $83,219, 42 cents Shannon and Meyer. This is why he's a joke. 42 cents. When I contact Control Thomas B. DiNapoli in Albany, I'm going to cite how he pays his employees and says, because this is some kind of civil service pay scale that's linked to the payroll to the sheriff's office that I acquire using the Freedom of Information Law. I don't know. Read the attached PDF that's a Freedom of Information Law. Comply with the attached PDF that's Freedom of Information Law. Disclose the names of prosecutors. Silence resign. There's your name right there. I'm looking right at it. PerryDouglas@MonroeCounty.gov. There's your email. pdouglas@MonroeCounty.gov. Mark Bonham's on here. Matthew Schwartz is on here. Robin Catalano is on here. These are all employees of the district attorney's office that are on here. And how do you look at this if you read it and just think this is a citizen who's been in the court? We have prosecutors. Tell them the names of prosecutors. That's insane. A prosecutor cannot stand in open court and make an argument that I committed a crime. That's an impossibility. That's why these freaks and sociopaths are relying on the lies from the sheriff's office that are on paper and then to force me into a court with a corrupt judge where I have no due process, where I'm just being ruled guilty. Well, I've been an innocent man my whole life. And I've called the previous YouTube unconstitutional because I believe that is unconstitutional. So, Shannon Meyer should be fired. Not because of what she did to me. She should be fired because she will concoct crimes for innocent citizens. Because she wrote a warrant for a parking lot I've walked through 4,000 times. There's 2 of my neighbors in that photograph right there. My New York's 4,000-time criminal, Michael Radler, Scott Alberti, Kathleen Miller, William Tadeo. The answer to Todd Baxter was Shannon Meyer is yes. I'm going to say this again. A warrant for my arrest for parking lot I've walked through 4,000 times, but not anybody else in Beverly, New York, Monroe County, State of New York. So what's my 14th Amendment right to protection of laws? You, Mark Phillips, can walk through this parking lot. The $87,000 assistant public defender knows the names of my prosecutors refuse to disclose. Why can you, $87,000 Mark Phillips, walk through this parking lot without being arrested, but I can't? Because you're a different kind of American than me. Because of this pay raise freak right here. She's why people hate the police. She's why citizens hate the police. I never had any hatred for the police in my long life of 58 years until I spoke to this freak on the phone for the first time. I thought something's not up with this. Something's not right with her. And I'm going to find out what's not right with her. I did not know yet. I had not yet to be arrested by this freak who doesn't know what constitutes a crime. She's using civilians upon me, too. If I was asked when I worked for the majority leader and governor from 1991 to 1998, a long time ago when I was a young man, can one judge sentence you to jail? I'd say that's ridiculous. That's ludicrous. One judge is the law in the state of New York. State legislature, Senate Majority Leader Andrew Stewart Cousins, Speaker Carl Easton needs to change this abomination. That means one judge anywhere, from Montauk to Buffalo, everywhere in between the state of New York, 17 million people can sentence citizens to jail. And that's how you get mutations like Paul C. Metzger and James Tremont Jr., and John Clemenza Jr., Penfield Court, and Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. One judge. If you had a friend or family member at Perry Buckles that had to appear before these same judges and you just being summarily declared guilty, I guarantee you have the same level of anger that I do. So, information. I'll go with the inflammatory word and then the non-inflammatory. It's not inflammatory. Information. What are the names of my prosecutor? You looked at it. You refused to arrive at the district attorney's office over and over. And you refused to disclose the names of my prosecutors because you're corrupt. Freaks. This is the inflammatory word. You're all freaks at the district attorney's office. A prosecutor stands in court and does not make an argument that a citizen committed the crime, and that citizen is limited to jail as a freak every time. And again, I'm telling you, that's February 26th, the mail the names of my prosecutors. And you're refusing. City of Freaks. So this is City of Freaks, that's on this TikTok app. So you're Freaks on YouTube, City of Freaks on this TikTok app that I use. And I go insane on March 28th. We detach PDS, mail the names of my prosecutors' house, and you refused. I think I was on there for an hour and 5 minutes that day, because that day stands out. Identification. Identify my prosecutor's house. I will sometimes use the same word. Again, abuse of power. I only used this once. You had a Richard Nixon level, that's abuse of power at the sheriff's office and district attorney's office. Smash me into a million little pieces when a prosecutor doesn't talk 6 times. Mail names my prosecutor's sons. He has a sister go to Rochester and detached PDF documentation resign on April 1st. Perry Douglas is here, Mark Monaghy is here, Julie Siak is here, Mark Phillips is here. You all have this information. Simple disclosure of prosecutor's name in a public proceeding, refused. So, silence of Monaghan public defender Julie Siak. This is why you must be removed as the public defender. And when I send the Monroe County Legislature president and every member of the Monroe County Legislature packet, they'll be able to see this, that I said to you on this April 2nd, public defender Julie Siaka, to disclose the names of my prosecutor's silence, information, names you have in your office, and you refuse, and how's that defended, and how's that explained? It can't be defended. It can't be explained, because you, public defender Julie Siaka, are in fear of the district attorney's office. And what's worse than even just being in mere fear of the district attorney's office is you're corrupt. A public defender refuses to tell the defendant the name of the prosecutor is corrupt every single time. In every city, in every county, in every state in the United States of America. Ludicrous. Ludicrous not to tell a citizen the name of a prosecutor in a public proceeding. It's ludicrous to be forced into court and delivered to jail when a prosecutor doesn't talk in court. Corruption and fanaticism. I hate this fucking freak with such intensity. Paul C. Metzler in Penfield Court, it has damaged my health. Corruption and fanaticism, Penfield Court, $28,000 Paul C. Metzler. This one hack can leave Penfield Court when the district attorney's office is not notified because they're not present. Richard J. Seaman, the last day I leave my residence, I don't know. Richard J. Seaman drove over to my residence staring at my front door because this disgusting, sick degenerate, Paul C. Metzler, a $28,000 salary, one person wants to send me to jail. I closed the door. I don't know this is the last time I closed the door. I walked down the driveway to front lawn. I don't know this is the last time I walked down the driveway down the front lawn. Richard J. Seaman was watching me the whole time. I went down Penfield Road, Bad Road. I get into the library, get in there, sit down at the computer. 5 minutes later, Richard J. Seaman walks in, runs at me, slams his arm into my head. I fell backwards into my head at ceramic time. Then he had a free kick me when I was down on the ground. They take me out of the library in handcuffs, and there's Paul C. Metzler waiting me with her prepared state. My head is pounding, my ears are ringing, and that's what I'm told, that my public defender is there. My public defender, who I've never met, knows I'm supposed to be in court. And this is the window dressing of this revolting, sick, fucking degenerate, Paul C. Metzler, where the public defender's office is notified, so you could say that I had my constitutional right to counsel, where I'm meeting the public defender right after I'm violently attacked, 30 seconds before I was about to be dragged in front of Paul C. Metzler. I still believe this is unconstitutional. What's the public defender's name? Julie Siaka and Mark Phillips. And how come this public defender didn't call me and tell me I was supposed to be in court if she's my public defender? So, Paul C. Metzler, redirect defendants away from this fossil and sociopath, Perry Douglas, saying you're not going to have innocent citizens in jail when prosecutors don't talk in court. But you love innocent citizens in jail when prosecutors don't talk in court because you consume with power. Refusal, Sheriff Todd, Baxter, District Attorney Sandra, Judge Renzi, Mel Renzi, Prosecutor Sandra, Assistant Bar, Rochester, read the 6 attached PDF document was on April 7th, May, June, July, August. You do not know you're corrupt. I was in Albany the day Elliot Spitzer resigned. in March 2008, 15 years ago. To this day, Elliot Spitzer doesn't know he's corrupt. 15 years from now, Perry Douglas, you're not going to know you're corrupt. Even though I'm telling you why. You're corrupt. It's where I believe you can remove Todd Baxter, Sandra, Doorley, and Alex Renzi from office. 2 words, sexual harassment. I'm not going to get into this now because I'm already at 20 minutes. Now, the names on prosecutor Sansi, address listed below, Rochester, New York, read the 6 attached PDF documentation. Answer me about sexual harassment in office resign. Title 7 of the 1964 Civil Rights Act governs sexual harassment. I'm demanding now for 18 months if Sandra, Doorley, and Todd Baxter and Alex Renzi are in compliance with it. What I hear is silence. Just like I heard silence on this day. Again, Judy Sianco, when I contact Sabrina Marr, the members of the Monmouth County Legislature, about to be able to see this on this May 14th. Stupefied. Public Defender Judy Sianco. If you were asked by a member of the Monmouth County Legislature, Public Defender Judy Sianco, why did you ignore this citizen on this May 14th where he says that you have the names of his prosecutors in his taxpayer finance public proceedings? Why don't you just tell him the names? And what's your answer? There are answers that I have a reasonably good idea of what the corrupt answer is going to be. For you, Julie Sianco, the public defender refuses to disclose names on prosecutors of silence. I have no idea what your corrupt answer is. I really am at a complete loss for why you're refusing information you have. Stupefied, psychopaths. I again talked to my ex-girlfriend, Lauren Riley, about my eviction, who I wrote a criminal complaint about. So I've been in contact with Sheriff Thomas J. Doherty of Livingston County, where I don't live, and I was in jail, where Peyton Gendron was at Livingston County Jail, the Tops Market Buffalo mass murderer. Did you see the body camera that he affixed to himself when he began that mass murder? It is one of the most horrifying, frightening things I believe anybody can ever watch. When he murdered someone right when he arrived, and someone was right in front of that Tops. He was in Livingston County Jail, not at the same time I was. And I'm in Livingston County Jail with the murderers, the rapists, the arsonists, the most violent individuals. Paul C. Messer being Pemberton Court and attacked by Richard J. Seaman when the prosecutor was not present. So I saw a violent attack at Livingston County Jail that I had to give a statement to a state investigator about. And I talked about that on here. This is in your office. You can read about the violent attack. And then I'm asking you questions like, why wasn't an inmate at Livingston County Jail when I'm a citizen of Monmouth County Sheriff Baxter? Sheriff Doherty and Todd Baxter refused to answer. Sheriff Doherty refused to answer because they're corrupt. This is like someone who lives in Brooklyn being driven to a county jail in Broome County. That's the lunatic fringe. I'm a citizen of Monroe County, and the reason why I can't be in Monroe County Jail is because if something already happened to me, I would be attacked by the Monroe County Sheriff Office employees at the jail. That's what they told me in Livingston County. I'm a security risk to be in Monroe County Jail, given what I did to you freaks on YouTube. So here again, you freaks here, Todd Baxter, Sandra, June 21st, comply with the 19 Freedom of Information Documents, statute PDF dated June 21st, 2023, including prosecutors of silence. You refuse because you're corrupt. So, June 24th, it's the same thing. Just a few days later, again with the 19. Tell me the names on prosecutors assigned to my appearance for each of these corrupt judges and prosecutors never talked to court to accuse me of a crime. And I've been jailed 6 times. You two psychopaths smashing me into a million little pieces. July 13th, again, the 4 you got in your office disclose the names on prosecutors assigned who will continue to refuse. What is wrong with you? July 15th, you violent psychopath employee 2 Baxter, you violent psychopath employee $75,094 Richard J. Seeger stalking the Pemberton Public Library, stood up the terminal seat and ran at me, slammed his arm side of my head. I fell backwards, my head hit the ceramic tile of the library floor. So unconstitutional, this is what I just previously mentioned. I believe it's unconstitutional for Paul C. Metzer to convene Pemberton Court when the district attorney's office is not present to make an argument I committed a crime. She's bypassing the district attorney's office because she's one person, wants to send me to jail. And says your office received a criminal complaint next 7 days about 80-year-old Anthony Ospano of Fairport, New York, locked behind a residence of Penfield without a court order. He will not be arrested because of his age. Your office received a criminal complaint from me next 7 days about Nayrod Shah of Pep, New York, false reporting criminal act that has walked through a park lot 4,000 times. You will not be arrested because your Kool-Aid drinks can't identify a crime. Your officer will receive a criminal complaint next 7 days about $75,904, which is AC with violent assault in the Pep Public Library. He will not be arrested or fired because he's a Monroe County Sheriff Office employee. All the rest are going to be accurate. But your caca crimes for me, those are real crimes. Every single one of them is a crime. I haven't committed a crime. That's why the prosecutor doesn't talk to court, yet I'm going to be in jail for not committing crimes. July 18th, again, 3 foils. July 18th, prosecutor silence, Sandra Doorley refused. So, July 19th, again, the very next day, I demanded to dispose of names by prosecutors on YouTube for 18 months. This is in the district attorney's office today, August 28th. You'll be able to look at this, every single one of these that I'm reading, in this 55-page document that I'll be concluding momentarily. The district attorney will look at just like this one from July 20th. That's parallel because I'm not Mark Monahan. Sometimes I'll go with District Attorney Sandra Doorley, and then I'll go with the employees, the non-elected employees. I'm communicating with you on this YouTube capiche, mail, and names I prosecute, South Yazras, Blow, and Park Avenue, Rochester, New York. Which you're going to get today, periodicals, because your name's right there. And so that's the last one of a 55-page document. Every single one of these is in the district attorney's office, sheriff's office, United States Attorney for Western District, New York, Trinity Ross, Department of Justice, in the person of Attorney General Merrick Garland. You'll comply with 0. Every single one of those freedom of information law documents, you refuse to be parking lot. You periodicals, you Mark Monahan, you Julie Cianchi, you Mark Phillips, you Michael Rabb, you Kathleen Miller, you Scott Alberto, you Bertie, you William Cadell can all walk through this parking lot without being arrested. Why is that? Because you're all different kind of Americans than me. Here's 2 of my neighbors right up here. I'm coming back from Goldstream and Fairport. This Nailon shots outside. He begins to scream at me. I had this confrontation with him. As I'm walking away, he's still screaming at me. I gave him the official finger broken in New York. I tell him to fuck off, and that's restraint. And he goes to the sheriff's office, and his cop, Fleet Shannemeyer, calls me. And I said to her during the course of this 1-hour conversation, why call me? Because people walk this parking lot all day long. And it's not a crime to walk this parking lot. And what she does is tell Steve Devson and Brock Coltrane Lawn Care, ride your tractor by his residence, which is right here. If he comes out of the house, we're going to arrest him. There's 2 things about that. 1, I called Timothy Murphy, the Monroe County Officer of Property Tax Service. He can't confirm anybody owns this land. And 2, Nairaj and Layla Kumar Shah don't have the documentation to prove land ownership. Even if they do have the documentation to prove land ownership, it's not a crime to walk outside, stand around here, say nobody owns the land, and walk back to my residence. And this is how I'm on the camera. The camera's watching me from 2025 Penfield Road, where Elliot Roth is the president of this business here called Consumer Insights. Do you understand, freaks and sociopaths, this at the sheriff's office? When you walk outside, stand right here, say nobody owns the land, walk back to residence, that's not a crime. And you know, so many times I've sent the Freedom of Information law to you. I used to live in this loft in Rochester. There's a knife right there I used to carry around on my hip because it's right next to the transit center. When Shannemeyer's laying in my backyard dirt, concocting crimes for me, I'm living in this loft next to the transit center, the Michael Stearns building, where the freaks are around the transit center all day long screaming at each other. Almani Allen was murdered there by twin brothers, Don and Ron and Brown. When cop freak Shannemeyer's laying in my backyard dirt, she's not doing anything about the violence around this transit center, not doing anything about violence anywhere in Monroe County. Not to dwell on this. Come with my residence to man my dog. Nairaj Shah and Layla Kumar Shah called the sheriff's office to come to my residence to man my dog. If Dr. Gordon Nichols was still my dentist where they now live at 2033 Penfield, I never would have been jailed once because I would have been on the radar screening you freaks and sociopaths at the sheriff's office. A 50-year-old man lives with a 70-year-old mother. Going to the sheriff's office when you walk through a parking lot, I've walked through 4,000 times and not anybody else. Calling the sheriff's office demanding you seize my dog. They're mentally ill. I'm not trying to engage in any type of hyperbole, exaggeration. They're mentally ill. And that does not matter to you freaks and sociopaths. Underwater in a pool. I demand from Todd Baxter, it's just tax dollars. These are Monroe County Sheriff Office employees, every single one of them, because it was on the Facebook page of the Sheriff's Office. The correspondence back to me is it's a private event. I didn't ask if it's a private event. I don't care if it's a private event. It's a tax dollars. It's not tax dollars. And when I contact Tom Speed at Apple to control the state of New York, I'll say that Todd Baxter is refusing to answer. This is the high resolution color photo of what I was on. It's right there. Elliot Roth, president of this business, Consumer Insights. Open your mail and tell me if this is your technology, if they bought it and fixed it for me with tax dollars. You can ignore me, Elliot, and that's just the way it is. These freaks and sociopaths the sheriff's office refuse to answer to because they're corrupt. And you call Renzi Mountain County Office of Mental Health to invade my life. Where you're not supposed to be is at Wegmans. I'm going to Gold's Gym, this time toward Gold's Gym, toward Fairport, and here he comes driving right at me. I took my camera out. I thought this is the money shot. Right in front of Wegmans. They are there all the time. They're at the Wegmans on East Avenue. They're at Walmart on Hudson Avenue. They're at this Wegmans in Penfield. A fucking joke. At the Monroe County Sheriff Office, employees are at a supermarket all day long. Just like this joke right here, Ryan Fisher in Atlanta, Georgia. How much was this trip? And you're refusing to answer over and over. Because this is the foil right here. On this January 18th, 2023, is the foil demanding how much it costs to send Ryan Fisher to Atlanta, Georgia with his dog. And you're tweeting about it. As we get you right around Super Bowl, we're grateful to the men and women assigned to keep fans and players safe in Atlanta, including MC Sullivan, Deputy Ryan Fisher, Kayla Nola. Deputy Fisher sent this photo from Atlanta, exclamation mark, thank you both for your service. This is not service. This means Ryan Fisher, Monroe County Sheriff Office employee, went up to somebody in Atlanta, Georgia, and said, take my picture so I can send it back to Rochester, New York. I don't have my DD-214 because the old man locking me out. I don't have my Army Commendation Medal, my Army Achievement Medal, my Air Assault Badge. I don't have my dress grease. I don't have my BA from SUNY Stony Brook. I don't have my clothes. I don't have my 3 bikes. I don't have my couch. I don't have my bed. I don't have anything. I had a number I found. Rochester was a 5K I ran. This is in Fairport. This was in my papers. I don't know why. I just took it off, but the jersey is gone. Because all my clothes are gone. Because of this old man you will not arrest, who's destroyed my life and who has committed multiple crimes. First Assistant District Attorney Perry Douglas. My name is Chris Chester. I live in Rochester, New York. I have been in jail 6 times. And 6 times, prosecutor from the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Sandra Doorley, has not talked in court. Perry Douglas. What are the names of my prosecutors? I've contacted your office via YouTube and demanded this information, disclosure of the names of prosecutors assigned to my court appearances. I've contacted your office via registered mail return receipt, the Marion Master that I don't signs for. I've contacted your office via UPS, where it's tracked. I've contacted your office via Federal Express. I've contacted your office via email. Over and over and over. First Assistant District Attorney Perry Douglas, I'm demanding of you disclose the names of prosecutors assigned to my court appearances who have never talked to court, Perry Douglas. Look at my face, you disgusting hack. What are their names? Christopher.Chichester@mail.com. I'm going to repeat that for you. Christopher.Chichester@mail.com. You, according to your biography, were an Assistant District Attorney in the local courts bureau. So what that means, Perry Douglas, is you have been in these disgusting courts in Monroe County where one judge like Paul C. Metzer in Pampa Town Court, or John P. Metzer Jr., and James C. Mullen Jr. in Pampa Town Court decide guilt or innocence, and that's a disgrace. Every single defendant is guilty in Pampa Town Court. Do you agree, Perry Douglas? They don't know how to acquit anyone. Paul C. Metzer, John P. Metzer Jr., James C. Mullen Jr. Because what it is a de facto office for the district attorney's office. And you have been at the district attorney's office since 2003. Have you ever stood in court, Perry Douglas, and not talked as a defendant is delivered to jail? How is any citizen in the United States of America delivered to jail when a prosecutor doesn't talk in court? Answer me. Quote, conviction integrity unit, end quote. That's language on your official website at the district attorney's office. You need a conviction integrity unit because innocent citizens are in jail when prosecutors don't talk in court. And what are the names of my prosecutors that don't talk in court? Regina Harper, the Monroe County Public Defender's Office, refuses to disclose any of prosecutors. She said to me at one point about this boy whose likeness I know, but whose name I don't know. Regina said to me, quote, the prosecutor's not backing down. He's a real Rambo, Perry Douglas. Not backing down, total silence. What's his name? He's a prosecutor assigned to my appearance before this bald-headed widow Paul C. Messer. Christopher.ChichesterMail.com, Perry Douglas. Disclose and answer my prosecutor's silence, and you will refuse because you, Perry Douglas, are corrupt. My name is Christopher Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I've been an innocent man my whole life.